And this is the Grow Givers Project once again. So let's build taller buildings. And look, what I want to talk about today is a conversation I had with a young lady approximately a month ago. And you already know how I am, right? Once I get something in my crawl, once I start thinking about something, I have to address it, right? I have to find a way to comprehensively answer a question. And I was looking at my notes from the conversation we had, and I said, you know what? Let's go ahead and just organize it, right? Because it was off the fly. We were sitting down, having a conversation, ended up Zooming shortly thereafter. We didn't even really know each other. I don't recall who she was. She barely recalled who I was, et cetera, et cetera. And she was like, look, man, I got this high-end oil. I got this high-end cologne. Like, something you put on your body that's healthy, right? Doesn't have all the alcohol and all these other things in it. So okay, cool, great. Because I don't like traditional alcohols anyway. I've never been a big cologne wearer because of the alcohol and the other stuff I know is not necessarily good for your skin. So I was interested in this. And she says, well, give me some advice. Because I've been doing A, B, C, and D. And I'm going to get into the A, B, C, and D. She's like, give me some advice in terms of what you would do if you were me. Right? She's fledgling. She's just getting it off the ground. She knows how to make it, manufacture it. She's been, excuse me, she's been doing it in her basement from time to time, in her living room. And she's like, look, give me the deal. What are the things I should be doing? I really want to be successful at this. I'm tired of my job. I'm tired of working at these salons and random other cosmetology places and not sticking and staying. I said, okay, cool. And the number one you need to do is you need to really beta test and iterate at a real high level. Now, what do I mean by that? You need to go out into the marketplace and you need to invite a lot of people to learn about what it is that you're doing. So often entrepreneurs tiptoe, right? They want to just kind of talk to one family member, talk to one friend, talk to one this, one that. No, you need to really get out there, like, and pound the pavement, whatever that means for you, right? In her case, she was going to convenience stores, she was going to gas stations, kikiing with people, and selling a couple bottles every now and again. I said, look, that ain't gonna get it. You got to turn up, and you have to turn up for a couple reasons. Number one, by going out there and repeatedly communicating your value prop to the marketplace and to people in your community, and one, you just get better at it. You get more comfortable at it, right? And people do business, folks, when they like, know, and trust. Oftentimes, people are not all that comfortable if they can sense that you aren't comfortable in your skin in terms of the nature of the work you're doing. So you want to get out there and iterate and get comfortable communicating your value prop. Also, the feedback is invaluable, right? Whether it be scents, texture, I don't know. I'm not big into oils and cologne, but I do know if you're going to go out there and market a service or product like that, that feedback is going to be invaluable. People will tell you what they like and what they don't like, what they appreciate and what they don't appreciate. You need to be providing samples. You need to be following up with individuals that you've sold your bottle, this, that, and other to, or a container, and make sure you're getting that invaluable feedback. And you need to do that at scale, right? It's not enough to get feedback from 3 to 5 people. You need to get feedback from 100, 200, 300, 500 people, right? And look, you do this so you can make sure the dog has legs. I don't know about you, but if I'm going to catch an L, let's make it quick. I don't want to catch an L over 3, 5, 6 months, right? Figuring it out and then realize the dog doesn't have legs, that it won't hunt, that this isn't a successful business venture for me. Let's hurry up and get it over with. And so that was step number one I told her she needed to do. She needed to get out there with that value prop and talk to as many people as possible. Because she was already, once again, doing this. But she was doing it, number one, not frequently enough at the wrong places. I'm thinking about something a mentor shared with me time and time again in the direct selling industry. And I remember he used to say all the time that you're either not doing it enough or you're not doing it right. In this case, she wasn't doing it right or enough. And what do I mean by doing it right? So we're going to sell high-end oils, healthier clones, things with higher price points, right? I would not be going to gas stations and convenience stores because people who frequent there, who are going to buy off you, they're just interested in kikiing with you. They're not going to spend $50, $80, $100 for some oil to roll on their skin or a cologne. You have to go where high-end people go. I told her, look, you need to stop that nonsense. You got to go to high-end barbershops. You have to be at high-end salons. You go to where spas are at. Take time to find out where people who have disposable income, where they eat, where they play, where they sleep. Those are the places you want to show up. I would be harassing high-end salons and barbershops in particular, maybe even cafes where I would harass incessantly spas, right? I know to cater to high-end people. They would know, all of them in the Metro Detroit Politan area and beyond would know me by first name, either because they've had to hang up on me 20 times, 100 times, or because we've had 100 conversations, or because they finally relented and allow me to put some of my wares to see whether or not it'll get some traction, right? That's what I told her she should do, right? And once again, you need to study the habits of the people that you want to market to. You need to find out, once again, where these people are spending money at already, particularly those who are into what it is that you do, right? I told her you need to get in your car and you need to study your competition. Anywhere where someone is selling these type of products and getting traction, they're doing well, you need to kind of sit back and take inventory. Take inventory of their prices, take inventory of their marketing, take inventory of where they're showing up. Go somewhere where somebody may have been able to get their products displayed and ask the owner, hey, how did that happen, right? Be nosy, be inquisitive. So what if people don't want to give you the answers? Ask anyway, right? That's what I would be doing, right? So number one, she wasn't doing it right, and I told her that. So you got to adjust your approach because you're going to starve out here, right? You're going to earn enough money to feel like you have some spending change, but you're not going to earn enough to really get it in, to level up, to grow, right? To really be able to pay your bills. So I said, you got to do that. The other thing, once again, was not enough. Actually, he was kikiing with like 5, 6, 7 people. And I was like, you got to turn up. You need to be talking about 50 to 100 people per day because you're asking people to spend $50 to $75 on a bottle. And I know it probably costs $20 to $30 to produce it. So you have to talk to at least 50 to 100 people, not because of the materials, but because of the containers. Actually, that's what costs the most. But anyway, before I digress, getting to the business development side of things. But anyway, I was like, you need to talk to 50 to 100 people just to get probably the 15 to 20 people per day that you need to buy your product, right? And I was like, the goal here is not simply to earn enough money to pay the expenses of the business. The goal is also to pay you. So that's why you have to talk to that many people, right? If you're going to do this full time, if you're going to be about that life, you got to show up that way for your business. And so you're going to need to approach your target market, like I said before, 50 to 100 times. I remember early on in my career in the investment advising industry, I remember they had me a phone, a yellow page, and they said, go to work. I learned real quick, fast, in a hurry, sitting there staring at the phone or calling 5 or 6 or 7 people or a couple of friends wasn't going to get it, right? My practice did not start to take off until I was willing to take 3 hours, 4 hours, much more effective today. But back then, yeah, it would take me 3 to 4 hours to call 100 people. So you got to do what you have to do. Man, I just took somebody that I worked with out in the field. We ended up having conversations with 10 business owners in less than an hour. So it can happen. You can do it. It's possible, but you got to do it, right? So next thing I told her is, look, what you need to do is now you need to set up a business deposit account and accounts payables and accounts receivable system. You have to do that for yourself. I don't care if it's Stripe, it's PayPal, I don't care if it's QuickBooks, but you need to be able to track your transactions and your paying clients and your expenses. You need to be able to do that. You need a system where you can begin to create projections so you can make decisions based on data and whether or not your business is actually being profitable or not based on how you feel on a day-to-day basis. Because there are going to be days where you don't feel like it. There are going to be days where you feel like you are Wonder Woman, Hercules, whatever, superhuman, whatever, Marvel character you want to be, right? It's going to happen. Any entrepreneur tells you different is lying. There are days where you just don't have the juice. You don't feel like doing it. And there are days where you're on 10 like you're ready to take on the world. None of that matters. What matters is execution. Are you being effective? And the only way you know whether or not you're truly being effective is to be able to see what you're earning, what expenses are going out, and whether or not you're hitting certain goals. That's all it is to it, right? It's so absolutely important. It's a big error in judgment that startups make, right? You want to do the cash app, you want to accept monies in cash and this, that, and the other. And it's just very difficult to really stay on top of the data and know whether or not you're actually winning. Okay. So anyway, I told her you need this in the worst way, right? You need to also be acutely aware and utilize the system to help you track your KPIs, know what levers to pull, right? There are 3 KPIs predominantly that every business needs to concern themselves with. Number one, exposures. How many people are learning about your business on a daily basis? If new people are not learning about your business on a daily basis, it's not a business. It's a social club. It's a hobby. Okay, I'm just being so sincere with you. You need to be tracking your conversion rate, meaning so people learn about your business, how many of those individuals actually acquire your service, right? And once again, putting a system in place like this force you to kind of focus in on those things. And then after you have determined your conversion rate, just have a conversation with one of my partners, figuratively and literally. She reminded me, yeah, you also need to be tracking integration. To what extent people are actually integrating these products and services into their lives. You need to find a way to assess whether or not that customer service experience is where it needs to be, so it'll end up resulting in repeat customers and also referrals, right? And once again, having a system like this where you can see the dollars coming in per person and you can really double down and see what your expenses are is so absolutely important, right? Because look, if you don't include yourself also in this process as an expense, look, just getting by in business doesn't work. I know it's tempting, particularly you get fatigued. It's tempting to say, I'm doing good enough to get by. Look, the BS.com is waiting for you. It's waiting around the corner for you. It's not good enough. So develop the habits of developing balancing your checkbook. Build these habits that will allow you to secure funding that you're going to need later, right? So often, and I don't have time to go into it today, but so often I'll have business owners say, well, I don't need funding right now. I'm going to use my personal credit cards. I'm going to use my personal finances. So my business is generating revenues. Look, there's going to come a time where you are going to need an infusion of capital. Stop. I don't know where people are getting this from, but there's just certain expenditures, if you're really going to scale, that you're going to need to make, and you're not going to want to use personal guarantees and leverage yourself personally. You're going to want to build a business profile. The best time to acquire capital is not when you need it, but when you don't need it, so the necessary doesn't have to occur, right? So balancing that checkbook, taking inventory of your KPIs, your revenue generating activities, making sure that you understand what's going on financially in your business is huge. It will give you a huge head start over even businesses that have been around for 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 years. You'd be surprised how many people don't even know to do these things. All right. The other thing I indicated was, look, if I were you, what I would do is, I already know you're active on social media, right? You're getting in, you got your following, people liking and posting, and they are engaging in what it is you're doing. You need a landing page. As I told her, I said, you're on a beer budget right now. Don't go out and spend $3,000 on a website. Get yourself a landing page where people can go to that landing page and they can make a decision. Because trust me, by the time someone has scoured through your social media, they've already determined whether or not they like, know, and trust you. They have. They've already determined that. So you just need to give them an opportunity to either buy something, to get on a waiting list to buy something, or for you to collect their information so you can drip on them so they can do what? Buy something. If not now, later, right? You need to be doing that. You need to have a CRM. So you need to have the landing page. You need a CRM that's collecting information. And there's a million of them out there, right? I'm partial to MailChimp, but there's a million of them out there. I like it because you can build a landing page, a simple landing page. You have CRM to collect the data as well. Okay. And I'll put links to a lot of things I'm referencing in the notes. Anyway, so you want to give people a chance to buy something, a chance to provide you with their information, or to buy later. And the CRM allows you to do that. And that's what you want to funnel your social media traffic into. Because look, you don't own the real estate on social media. Cannot tell you how many entrepreneurs I talk to over the course of a day, a week, or a month, who businesses come to a screeching halt because of some new change in the platform, algorithm, new rules, et cetera, et cetera. They decide they don't like you. They shut your page down. your page gets hacked or some other BS, and now you've lost all that traction in your business. Don't be that guy or gal, right? That's what I told her. Have some real estate that you own, right? And drip on them. Stay omnipresent. So when they think about buying that product or service, in this case, the oil or the cologne, you want them thinking about you, right? You want them to think about calling you. You want to be constantly reminding them that you exist. Also, you'd be surprised. A lot of people are watching you. People are watching you. A lot of people will not patronize you initially, but they'll be watching you to see if you have staying power. I cannot tell you how many clients I take on as a result of just simply being around years later and everybody else faded out, right? So that's something you want to keep in mind too. And then once again, by dripping on people, and I'm going to reiterate this, this is what I reiterate to her. Look, you want to lean into referrals. The quickest route to a destination is a straight line. So you don't have to pay a bunch of money on marketing if you're treating people right and acquiring referrals. So don't be afraid to ask for that. These are the things I would do if I were you. So the last thing that I share with her is, look, you need to document everything. You need to document this conversation. You need to document these steps. You need to document, like, on a daily basis. You need to sit down and write down what were your wins, what were your losses, what worked, what didn't work, what was exciting, what wasn't exciting. Document this stuff, because what you're doing is you're preparing for the future. At some point, you're going to need to bring on other people to help you build your business, and you want to give them a track to run on. The most expensive part of operating a business is the people that you're eventually going to have to onboard. It's expensive because it's expensive to pay people, and it's expensive because training people and getting people up to speed and make sure people understand what's good, what good means to you. That's very time consuming. So you want to write those things down. So if I was starting out as an entrepreneur, this is the framework that I would use just to get started, right? I'm fledgling. I want to see if the dog has legs. Is there a future here for me? Can I really make this thing work if I'm thinking about quitting my job or something like that? These are the steps I would take. With that being said, celebrate success in advance. As always, goodbye for now.